Excuse me for a second. I'm getting an education on how the Eagles organization actually operates here. We hate linebackers. I don't want to spend any money on them. Free agency. I don't know. Is there anybody really in there I care about? No. Okay. I don't really want to spend any money. The draft is big, even though we haven't been big in the draft. Nice year last year, I will say. So I'm coming around. Xander was giving me an education here on how actually the Eagle organization works. You see, I'm coming from a position of reality. That's why when we were talking about the DW deal, I was coming from a place, I'm trying to make the team better. Fair enough. We move on. By the way, hit the like button. Special guest today, the head football coach of the Indianapolis Colts, Frank Reich, will join us in hour number 2 at 5:30. Please hit the like button. We will talk Zachary Pascal. We will talk Carson Wentz. They get Matt Ryan yesterday. Congratulations to Chris Ballard, the general manager, and to Frank Reich. 5 different quarterbacks in the last 5 years in Indianapolis. When does that train stop? Does Matt Ryan stop that train? Maybe Indy goes into the upcoming NFL draft. We'll ask Frank that. Maybe the Colts take one. We'll see what happens. So we'll talk to the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. That'll be in hour number 2 at the bottom of the hour, 5:30 Eastern time. You know, I'm sitting here and I'm watching people talk to me about pro days. And you guys are telling me, you know, this guy can really throw the ball. This guy's got a really great arm. What does that have to do with being an NFL quarterback today? How many times have we seen quarterbacks come into the league that don't have the strongest arm? Peyton Manning, Joe Montana, Tom Brady. And the evolution of getting better and better and better and better and better at doing the number one thing. Not running 40-yard dashes, not throwing the ball far or hard. Progression reading. Moving defenses. Anticipation. Knowing where to throw the ball. Not having your coach have to be in your ear on every pre-snap read that you need help on. Jalen Hurts needs pre-snap help. We all know this. Okay, we saw it in the Buccaneer playoff game. He needs help at identifying the open dude. That's why you have pre-snap penalties sometimes with certain players, because they don't know where to go with the ball. There's certain guys that line up. They know where they're going with the ball before the snap. And what they do is they play a game of chess with you and they set you up. Matt Corral throws the ball well. Great. Malik Willis throws the ball great. Wonderful. I could make Xander Krause look like a 5th rounder on pro day. You throw it to your boys, home field advantage. There's nothing football about pro day. Nothing. Situational play calling. Being put in situations that are uncomfortable. Not that are fashionable. Pro days give you the best scenario on the planet. Perfect weather. Great environment. You're on your home field. You've got your own receivers. I'd like to see a quarterback on a pro day in horrific weather, especially if I play in bad weather, with receivers he doesn't know. I mean, how about this? You want to know what a real moment is? Matthew Stafford in a Super Bowl, down 18. He loses Odell Beckham, who was playing well in the game. They have to adjust. That's NFL football. They rally back and they win the Super Bowl because Matthew Stafford rallied the troops and knew where to go with the ball. That's quarterbacking in the NFL. Being sacked 9 times by the Titans. You think that's a pro day? That's a professional quarterback day. Getting sacked 9 times in a playoff game and you win it. What? Joe Burrow. Pro day? Xander goes, I'm going to watch, I think the kid Corral throwing tomorrow. I could care less about that stuff. I want to know what a quarterback does when the environment's not perfect. When things are going to hell in a handbasket. For the record, guys, that's how Carson Wentz landed in Philly, because he had a great pro day. He was wonderful on pro day. Said all the right things, did all the right things, looked the part. He passed the audition. That's all this is, guys. This is the audition. Malik Willis looks like he's got a great audition tape going. See this guy? Holy cow. This guy looks like a star. He handles himself well. He's got a strong arm. He's doing everything perfect. Perfect? That's not actually what an NFL quarterback is. Perfect. Chris says, Pickett looked okay. He looked okay. Now, look, I'm not saying that the audition's not important, because it is. Howie Roseman has got to get this. Howie pushed all the chips in on the draft now. He's not going to be gauged in free agency. How about this? Would it be fair to say this with Howie Roseman's offseason so far? That's one of the questions today. Howie Roseman's offseason has been what? Fill in the line. You guys fill in the line here. What has Howie Roseman's offseason been? And I'll add after that. What do you think? Above average? Average? And always remember, hey, and do me a favor, guys. Do me a favor. Wait a minute, guys. Wait. Come from this position. Have the Eagles gotten worse or better since that last game against Tampa? Smile, MIA. Vasselli, pathetic. Maniac, bland. Matt, disappointing. Eric, boring. Sometimes boring's okay, Eric. Okay? Need money to sign those ones, Sills. Oh, you have to have the willingness, too. Below average, it's the same team outside of Reddick. Well, then they did get better. Right? They did get better. Xander makes a great point here. Boring is okay if you're coming off of a championship. Look at the Rams, though. Their offseason has been spectacular. They add Allen Robinson. They'll get Odell Beckham back in November. Very few pieces need to be added in Los Angeles with the Rams. Maniac says better by not much, though. Reddick numbers are smoke and mirrors. The last 3 years of that deal, don't look at it. Okay? Look at the nearly $14 million signing bonus, which is good. And by the way, I think he's productive. Hugh says not better yet. Team, Daz says. This, and I say this how we wrote off season so far. Uninspiring. Uninspiring. Look, I'm not saying that you have to take every cent that you have and go out and spend it. That's not what I'm saying. Vasselli, they are selling us mediocrity, big sells. I'm not going to go down that lane again. Non-committal. I'm talking sack numbers. Okay, Dan. I think we signed Dan Silly Spaghetti. We would improve greatly. Thank you, Maniac. Worse. Don't have safeties, linebackers, corners, DEs, and a second tight end. Just uninspiring. And I'm not talking about the fan base. I'm talking about the people that are in the locker room. If you're sitting as a Philadelphia Eagle now, you're probably happy that Fletcher Cox is back. You're happy they addressed a rush end. If you're Jalen Hurts, I don't know how you feel about Zach Pascal. I guess Nick Sirianni had to sell him on who he is. By the way, okay, I'll ask the question there. How many times have you ever seen a number 3 become a number 1? Have you ever seen that before? Where a guy was just sitting on the bench and all of a sudden he just burst into being a 1. And he turns out to be like a Pro Bowler. Just, Wes Welker maybe? He's a special teams guy like that, right? Amendola and them dudes? I guess, right? Okay. Travis Fulgham, Philly for 5 weeks. Dude. I say this to you here. So, there you go. All right, Daz. I think it's just been uninspiring. I'm going to show you how your Eagles did get better, though. Okay? Now, I think we have to quantify this when we do this little exercise here. The reason why, wait a minute, easy money hit on it. NFC, put that up, Xander. NFC is so weak right now. Okay, he's right. Xander asked me, I was naming all the AFC quarterbacks. Okay, see this right here? What easy money said? Watch this. I'm going to make a point to you guys. And I'm going to ask you a question here. Is Jalen Hurts a top 10 quarterback in the NFC? I listed these just 9 guys because I could have went on forever in the AFC. And I didn't put them in any order. Wilson, Watson, Mahomes, Jackson, Herbert, Carr, Allen, Matt Ryan now, Joe Burrow. Hell, you could even put Tannehill in that conversation. Eric, yes. 215, no. NFC, yes, Matt. Let's take a look at that. Let's go by the names. Okay? Think about what I'm going to tell you. This is what probably swayed. Hey, I'm going to make a point to you also about DW in Cleveland now. Do you think that Cleveland was propelled to go out and push all their chips in because the laughing stock of NFL football in the state of Ohio has been the Bengals for the last 30 years, that the play of Joe Burrow pushed the Browns to going after DW and signing him? Do you think, seriously, think about it. The Browns always had the Bengals to laugh at, even when they were horrible. But now, get this. You see all the free agents that the Bengals have signed in the offseason? I told you that they would address all the issues that they needed to be addressed when it came to their O-line. They signed 4 guys, 4 bona fide good football players to protect Joe Burrow this coming season. It was a massive priority. They'll probably take a right tackle in the draft. What happened in Cleveland is what people are now looking at Cincinnati going, dude, Cincinnati's now better. Cincinnati's now better than the Browns. I would say that right now. Who would you take? Joe Burrow or Watson? Who would you take? Yeah. Who would you take? Deshaun Watson or Joe Burrow? Who would you take? Man, Deshaun Watson's worth $230 million. What's Joe Burrow worth? Sacked all those times, got his team to a Super Bowl, changed the culture around. One of the laughing stocks in NFL history, the Bengals are now one of the favorites to win the AFC. Burrow all day. Dude, Joe Burrow, I'm going to go, I love Watson. Yeah. Dude, if you think that Sean Watson, with all of his issues, is worth $230 guaranteed, Joe Burrow's worth at least $400 million guaranteed. Let's take a look where Jalen Hurts is right now. And by the way, I put him in order. I'd say Aaron Rodgers is still number one. Got to go with the GOAT. Can't be out of the top three, so I'm going to put Tom Brady number two. Stafford, by his accomplishments this year, I put him three. Cousins, by his accomplishments, with all the yards he throws for. Kyler Murray probably took a step back because of his business decision that he made during the playoffs, but he's a top 5 guy in the NFC. You got to put Dak in there. I'm guessing, right? Dak, number one offense in the NFL last year, were the Dallas Cowboys. Dak's got to be 6. Who would you put ahead of Jalen here? 7. I got Jalen Hurts at 7. I got Jalen Hurts at 7. Rodgers, Brady, Stafford, Dak, Murray, Cousins, Wentz, Garoppolo, Hurts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then Jared Goff brings up the top 10. Jared Goff's your 10th best player in the NFC at the quarterback position. Wow. And think what I just said to you there. Then you go to the AFC. Wilson, Watson, Mahomes, Jackson, Hurts, Carr, Allen, Ryan, Burrow. The only guy that I think that could break probably in that top 9 in the AFC would be Rodgers and Brady. The AFC, winning the AFC is going to be harder than winning the Super Bowl. Because whoever they play, if you're not playing Brady or you're not playing Rodgers in the Super Bowl, it'll be a laughingstock game. I mean, Kirk Cousins in Minnesota versus the Bills. I'm not even sure that the NFC has a top 10 team. The Rams. Okay, the Rams. I honestly got to put Goff over Hurts. Because of his accomplishments, NFC champion, brought the Rams to the Super Bowl, winning record when he was in with the Rams. Hey, Chris, I didn't even mention Trevor Lawrence. Right? I mean, one of the most gifted kids coming out of college we've ever seen. Cousins is way better than Hurts? Absolutely. Sack says, Sileo, what about the defense, though? Are you suggesting the Bills don't have a good defense? Or that Buffalo doesn't? Or that the Broncos don't? Or that the Ravens don't? I thought the Bengals were awful good on defense. Jalen Hurts, by lack thereof talent in the NFC, is a top 10 quarterback in the conference. You moved Matt Ryan out of the division. You moved Russell Wilson out of the division. Someone's got to take the chairs that people are not occupying anymore. So by the war of attrition, Jalen Hurts is now the 8th or 9th best quarterback in the NFC. Here's the issue, though. You're going to win games in that conference. You're not going to win Super Bowls, though. You're just not. But you know what Jalen gives you the ability to do? To evaluate him, let him play, and then to continue to get the rest of your pieces on your football team better. But there's no question. Here, even with what I just said, is the quarterback question in Philadelphia answered yet? Is it? And you know what sucks? Anyone says this, yeah, for 2022. Well, then you don't have your quarterback situation settled. You think the quarterback situation is settled in Washington? Of course it's not. You think the quarterback situation is settled in Indianapolis? Got to tell you, 5 different quarterbacks in 5 years is quite a story that's going on. I said this on the middle today with Barrett. The problem, in my opinion, in Indianapolis is that the owner of the football team has a benchmark on what a franchise quarterback looks like in Andrew Luck. And he's evaluating and he's looking at Andrew Luck as, for him, a prototypical face of a franchise and a franchise quarterback. And every guy that they have had since has failed that litmus test of how he compares that. You know, maybe everybody except Phillip Rivers. Rivers did win 11 ball games. The Colts were a handful when Rivers was on that team. He was a handful. Frank and Sirianni did a hell of a job moving the sticks with Phillip Rivers. Okay? That tells you a lot, man. Here, and you know what else, too? One thing I will say this. If the Philadelphia Eagles would have given up all the assets, and I'm going to say this, and Ken, this goes back into now me looking at why the Eagles didn't go all in on Watson. I'm going to tell you something here. You know what's funny? You didn't push your chips all in on Watson. Why? Why do you think? Because I think Howie looks at it like this. Man, you have that one signal caller. You have that one superstar guy. But you know what? Anytime you've given big money to a quarterback, they can't win because you have to rip your team apart. Remember something in New England. Tom Brady took haircuts on salary. They never had big pay guys. They didn't pay their wide receivers top dollars. They paid maybe Gronk tight end money. But the key to New England's success was nobody was a gigantic salary hit. It was a balanced salary cap. What I think went on was Howie had to look at it like this. We give this guy $50 million a year. We're going to be in the land of the Dallas Cowboys. We're going to be in the land of the Cowboys. You can't win. Hey, watch this. Is Watson a spectacular player? Yes, but you can't win with salaries like that on a football team. Look at the hell that the Cowboys are in right now. And again, what I'm doing here is I'm looking at Jalen's position now in the NFC, and I'm also looking at why maybe Howie went like this. How many times have you seen that work out where a team goes to the Super Bowl the next year? And remember something about what they just did with Matthew Stafford's deal. Do you know what his base salary is? It's 1.5. They're guaranteeing his signing bonus. And the only thing that gets smashed against the cap is the 1.5. He's making the same money Jalen Hurts is making against the cap of the Rams. The Rams, Les Snead and Kevin Demoff, the executives with the Rams, know anybody who makes super big money against the cap, you can't win Super Bowls. You can't win Super Bowls. Howie had to look at it like this. Let's get to the, you know what? I'll tell you what that Super Bowl did for the Eagles. And you know what? It's not a bad philosophy. Watch this. Who would have thought the Eagles would have won a Super Bowl with a backup quarterback? How many backup quarterbacks have ever gone on to win Super Bowls? The only other guy I can think of is Jeff Hostetler. It's a rare scenario where a backup quarterback leads a team to a Super Bowl. Right? Jeff Hostetler. Remember Sims got hurt in that 90 year against the Bills. They were 10-0. He gets banged up. He's out the rest of the season. Hostetler goes in. They win the Super Bowl. Just saying. You did. Of course you did, Maniac, because that's why you're a maniac. Nick Foles, who couldn't keep a job, you thought he was going to lead that Eagle team to the promised land with a banged up. Steve Young won a Super Bowl as a backup? I don't think so. Montana had left for Kansas City already. Wasn't a backup. They had moved on from Joe. Joe went to Kansas City and was traded. Kenny says, you are mistaken, Dan. The signing bonus is spread out over the contract against the cap. It is. That's the new CBA. Kenny, that's the new CBA. You're right. You are right. It does count against the cap. But it's spread out. And also you could defer a lot more of that money out. Brad Johnson was a starter. He wasn't a backup. I'm talking about a guy starting the year getting, well, Doug Williams too did it. Trent was a starter all year. This is not Trivial Pursuit here. Anthony says Hurts is a running quarterback. And Mark Rippon was the MVP they won the Super. Dude, I'm not going to do Trivial Pursuit. Mark Rippon was the most valuable player of the year they won the Super Bowl. King in Tampa won a Super Bowl? When was that? No, that's just constipation, Maniac. That nothing more than any of that. That's just constipation. Earl Morrall played the whole year, but Greasy came in and won that Super Bowl against the Redskins in Los Angeles at the Coliseum. Come on, man. Come on now. Come on now. Come on now. And don't start giving me Philly baseball stuff, too. My favorite baseball player, by the way, growing up, was Dick Allen. Oh, by the way, do I have that baseball signed by? Oh, yeah. I love it that I get to prove all this. Look at this, guys. Hey, Philly fans. How you doing? Dick Allen. Bang. Man, I love this guy. Dick Allen was my favorite ball player because he was such a jackass. Yeah, get this, and he signed it Rookie of the Year in 1961. I think he won the Rookie of the Year award with the Dodgers, if I'm not mistaken. Dick Allen. Look at that, man. I love Richie Allen. Wampum, baby. Wampum. I loved when he wore that gear and that jersey when he was with the A's. You know, you could put like different, he put Wampum on there. Wampum, PA. That dude he should be in the Hall of Fame too. You got Kirby Puckett in the Hall of Fame with his limited numbers. You could put Dick Allen in the Hall of Fame. Man, I love that guy. Wow, was he such a great ball player. Number 15. His best year, though, was with the White Sox. Okay? It doesn't say Dick Allen. That says, man, Pickett did win 2 World. Hey, he did, man. Kirby Puckett won 2 World Series. He was on those great Twins teams. Oh, man, I have a signed Howard ball. And after he got struck out looking, I gave it to a kid to play baseball with. Oh, man. Jesus Christ. You got if Phil Risotto's a Hall of Famer, Dick Allen should be too. Absolutely. Guys, you guys are talking a lot about quarterbacks. And Xander is doing this to me every single time before I come on the air. Sills, you're not understanding the Eagle front office. Stop making sense. Stop having common sense. I'm going to throw something off of you here about the Eagles looking at a quarterback in the draft. Tell me if I'm bananas here, because I obviously don't know how Howie runs his offseason, because I'm not getting it so far. I think it's been uninspiring so far. Why would you push your chips all in on the NFL draft and not use free agency? Last year, Bill Belichick spent over $330 million in contracts to better his team, and it got him in the playoffs. We'll hit on that. Guys, please do me a favor. Hit the like button. Don't forget, in hour number 2, the head football coach of the Indianapolis Colts, Frank Reich, will join us. We got a ton of questions for him. You keep it right here on the National Football Show.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass, free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that.
Holy shit.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. One free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of Stateside Vodka. So good, it just disappears.
Imagine for a moment that you went to work today, and when you came home, you were catastrophically injured. Your life and your family's life. That's what happened to union construction worker Mike Little.
I was scared of what the end was going to be, but to be 100% honest with you, I knew I was going to be all right just by talking with Brian. In my heart, I just knew everything was going to be all right.
Call the firm and find out why they say, "We got this." Call 215-458-2222.
Go for the midnight dares. Go for the memories. Go for the view that goes on forever. Go for the bubbles in your bathtub and in your drink. Go to bed whenever you want. Or don't. Go for him. Go for her. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you. Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3. Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Welcome back. National Football Show, your boy Big Sills. Please hit the like button. Hour number 2, we're going to have the head coach of the Colts on, my friend Frank Reich. We'll talk to him about the acquisition of Matt Ryan, what led to them moving on from Carson Wentz. Zach Pascal will get basically a scouting report from the coach that he played for last year. So we'll ask him what he thinks he can bring to a team like the Eagles. We'll get his sense, too. By the way, he's got to be pretty proud of his guy. His guy, Nick Sirianni, had a winning record in his first year coaching. That was Frank's offensive coordinator last year. I don't know. If I'm Frank Reich, I'm pretty happy about one of my guys going on and having great success. So we'll talk to him. That'll be in hour number 2. I hope you'll stay by and wait around for that interview, because I can't wait to talk to our friend. I think Frank's going to be on the hot seat a little bit because this has to work. Okay? And by the way, the direction that the Colts are going in with veteran quarterbacks instead of going into the draft and potentially drafting one of these guys, they still may. The Colts may still draft a quarterback. Okay? However, okay, you see that they're going veteran because they think they have a roster that's ready to win today. Okay? Now look at Fred. Fred's like, where's Warren Moon? Xander. That's Xander's fault. Hey, Xander, you're doing a great job. Wait a minute. Put Hugh. Hang on for a second. Hugh, can I tell you what he does to me? He prods me. And he knows that I'm an emotional bull. Okay? He knows this. So what he says is, you know what he said to me the other day? Man, some of these fans, man, they just like mediocrity. And so I take that. You know me. I sprout wings with this thing. And I start going, Philly fans, half the base sucks. And, and he's like, you might want, and I'm going like, so don't say he's doing a great, he's leading me down a bad path. Don't blame Xander. Oh, why? Because he's one of yours? Okay. I see how it works. Okay. We can bang on him, but you can't because he, we're boys, loyal to the soil kind of stuff. Okay. I see how that goes. Prods me. Yeah, I said something about Baker Mayfield today. That Skip Bayless said that Baker Mayfield, he would take him over Jalen Hurts. And obviously nobody with any common sense. And then again, you got to remember something. Skip Bayless's three favorite quarterbacks are Ryan Leaf, Tim Tebow, and Baker Mayfield. So that's all you really need to know about Bayless is, his attention to quarterbacks. Okay, think about that. Oh, Ryan Leaf will have a way better career than Peyton Manning. Yeah. Ryan Leaf, I think, is doing 10 to 15 now in Sing Sing. Yeah, right? I think that guy's into pokey, man, doing something. Yeah, you know what? He probably watched Peyton Manning's induction speech from C Block. Whoa! Wait a minute. Eagle fans. Wait a minute. I got your quarterback. Dear Tyler, it's your boy Sills. Two Connecticut legends. Hey, brother. Hold on here. Yeah, the Eagle fans would like to know in 2024 if you would like to be a Philadelphia Eagle. Let's see. How tall is Tyler Van Dyke? He's from up in the northern part of the state of Connecticut. Tyler Van Dyke. How tall is Tyler Van Dyke? Oh, he's 6'5". ACC Rookie of the Year? Huh. What do you guys, would you guys like me to set up Tyler Van Dyke to come on the show and see if he'd like to play in Philly? I could make that happen. Goose Faba. Hold on for a second. Just text me back. Love to play in Philly. Xander says, now you're selling us my mediocrity. That guy's going to be a top 3 pick. He's going to be a top 3 pick in the upcoming NFL draft once he becomes eligible. He could be in the conversation. Watch this. Bryce Young will win all the awards in the national championship, and it'll be a 7th-round draft choice. You don't draft schwimps at quarterback that are 5'10", 185. You draft Tyler Van Dyke at 6'5", 238 pounds. That's what you draft. What are you going to do? Oh, no. You stick with Tua. I'll stick with Justin Herbert. That's who this kid reminds me of. How'd you like to have Justin Herbert? Okay, Murray. Well, we'll see how long he lasts. And by the way, Murray's like 200 some odd pounds. So you think a 5'11 guy from Alabama, by the way, phenomenal talent. One of the most gifted players I've ever seen athletically, but then again, so was Charlie Ward. So was Tebow. Okay, all those, they're really great college guys. So was Tommy Frazier. Super. All those dudes. How many Heisman guys do you think? Let's take a look at how many Heisman guys have really been superstar NFL quarterbacks. Shall we? Roger Staubach. Cam Newton. Lamar Jackson. Steve Young never won the Heisman, homie. Breeze never won the Heisman either. 3? Since 60? 3. Plunkett? Won 2 Super Bowls. Vinny T, baby. He did throw for 50,000 yards. Vince Young, I always thought Vince got a bad rap, man. He was 34-19 when they pulled the trigger on him in Tennessee. He was 34-19. Steve says Tyler Van Dyke goes to Miami. He won't be that good. Excuse me, guy. Excuse me for 1 second. Those are 2 national championship rings up there from the University of Miami. In between those 2 player of the game footballs, on the 3rd shelf, those are 2 national championship rings. What are you talking about? By the way, Miami players versus Alabama players over the last 30 years is a joke. Don't even try to compare. Miami blow that team out of the water. On Hall of Famers? All pros? Alabama's not in the same conversation NFL-wise. It's a joke. Every guy you name, I'll name a guy better. In the last 30 years, I'll name a guy better. I'll name a guy. The only position UM can't beat Alabama in right now? The only position? Quarterback, believe it or not. Well, wait a minute. 30 years? That's Jim Kelly. I'm sorry. You don't have any but. Well, in the last 30 years at Alabama, that's better than Jim Kelly? I don't think so. Okay? You want to go running back? We just put 2 in the Hall of Fame, Edgerrin James. Let's see. Wide receiver? Michael Irvin? Let's see. Defensive tackle? You think Alabama's had a better DT than Warren Sapp? Cortez Kennedy? How about this? You think Alabama's had a better linebacker than Ray Lewis? You think Alabama's had a better DB than Ed Reed? Come on now. Andre Johnson. I didn't even get to Andre. Derrick Henry is a beast. They got us there. Quarterback and running back. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, man. Because Edgerrin James just went into the Hall of Fame. Yeah, but, here, I will have to come to a little bit of Xander's side here in this one here a little bit. We're talking about guys from old news now. But then again, I think Calais Campbell's going to be a Hall of Famer. Reggie Wayne's going to be a Hall of Famer. Vince Wilfork is going to be a Hall of Famer. Devin Hester's going to be a Hall of Famer. Jerome Brown would have been, and so Sean Taylor would have been. Miami still has 9 guys out there that are going to be considered for Pro Football Hall of Fame consideration. And by the way, how about this? So you think that Alabama's had a better running back than Miami has had a running back? Do you know who third all-time in rushing is in the NFL's history? Does anybody know who the third all-time leading rusher is in pro football history? It's Frank Gore. Gore may be second. No, I don't think he's past Peyton. I don't think he passed Walter. But he's third all-time. Frank freaking Gore is third all-time in NFL rushing history. Henry will never get near that. Let him have the career first, Sills. Okay. What Alabama guy do you think really jumps off the page at you today? Let me think. Boy, I like that guy in Denver. I love the dude in Denver, man. The DB, love him. If Michael Parsons didn't have the season he had, that kid probably wins the Defensive Rookie of the Year. He's impressive. Let's see. Devontae had just a year. 68 catches. And as we talked a little bit yesterday about it, when does Devontae start barking about not being able to get the football to him? I think Julio Jones is going to be a Hall of Fame wide receiver. I do. I've always been a fan of that dude. I think he has been I think Jonathan Allen's a good football player, but then again, we're not talking about the elites of the elites, right? Hugh, think about that, man. I mean, we may not be winning a lot of games because that's shitty coaching. But I'll tell you this, Miami still produces. Look at the defensive ends. 2 of them went in the first round. They made the all-rookie team. That kid Phillips with the Dolphins and the kid that's up with the Bills. Okay? Thank you, Hugh. Thank you. Yeah. Wait a minute. It's all right. It's all right. Everyone takes shots at UM. They think they know better, but it's all right. It's all right. That has the U done lately? Dinner, what has the U done lately? What has the U done lately? Let me think. What has the U done lately? Well, we just put a coach into the Hall of Fame, Jimmy Johnson. We had, 4 nominations this last year for consideration for the Hall of Fame. We have a guy go in every other year. What are you talking about? Yeah, Surtain is awesome. I think he's a good football player. Lousy quarterbacks. Hey, you want to know? And get this, Carl. When I was at UM, you know what my quarterback room was? Testaverde, Kozar, and Walsh. Every one of those guys but one won a national championship and went on to a lengthy NFL career. Right? I mean, it went Kelly, Kozar, Testaverde, and Walsh. All 4 of those guys were in our quarterback room. Is that not crazy? That's what we had in our room. Dinner, glory days. Wait a minute. Whoa. Hey, the Black Edge says I should bring in Cristobal. Bro, we've had him on 3 times already. He's been on the program once, I think, right, Xander? When he was with the Oregon Ducks, he may have been on when he was with the Oregon Ducks twice. Or maybe, I think it was once Oregon, twice with UM. We got him on faster than really anybody else got him on after he signed that enormous contract. He now makes $8.5 million. So wait a minute. Back to the story here. You guys don't want Tyler Van Dyke? Well, I'm just saying, Tyler. Because you guys are the mouthpieces now, as far as I'm concerned, for Eagle football. Tyler, Eagle fan base is suspect, are you? Eagle fan base is suspect of a guy who's going to go in the top 3 picks. And I'm blaming the Black Edge. I'm blaming Monster. I'm blaming Dinner. I'm blaming Xander. M. Reyes says Notre Dame is better than Miami now. How's that possible? I'm blaming Daz. I'm blaming D-Train. Okay, wait a minute. Here it is. I'll make him want me. All right. Okay. Man, now you're starting to fight. Well, he said we'll continue it on Twitter later. So I expect you over on Twitter later. So you guys are going against the second best quarterback next to C.J. Stroud and Bryce. Those are the 3 quarterbacks, really, that people are going to look at for the upcoming NFL draft. And he's one of them. He's 6'5". I'm going to get him in Philly. Sills, make it happen. I said I got Frank Reich coming on in hour number 2. Frank may like you too, bro. Dinner goes, I want you to want me. Let me see. I want you to want. Holy cow, this guy's quoting songs on me now. Cheap Trick, right, brother? This guy's dropping Cheap Trick on me, man. Need more data. Wait a minute. I told Xander this today. No, you don't. You know the only data you need when it comes to evaluating people, you ready? Is your eyeball test. Your eyeball test never fails you when you see a hot woman. Man! Woo! How many times have you ever done this? I need to see her 5 or 6 more times. Dude, you watch one football game with a guy throwing the pill around. Don't you do this? That guy could play. Don't let your number one asset fool you. Your brain is the one that convinces you he's not what you're seeing. There's so many times you see a beautiful car, a woman, you love your stomach. You have conviction on things you really like when you first taste it or see it. First impressions don't usually get, yeah, they do. First impressions are usually the true inner self. When you meet him a second time, that's traditionally the bullshit artist in the guy. Right? Sears beer goggles. No. Duck. I'll tell you how Big Sills worked in a bar. I always used to go out when I was a young boy at around 11:45 when guys like Xander would get half the chicks in the bar hammered. And you know what Big Sills would do? I'd come parachuting in. Hey, how you doing? Just got here. Yeah, the bar's closing in about an hour. Really? All drunk and hammered. And you're like, man, that's wild. Yeah, I'm here with my friend. I'm like, wow, that's great. Hey, yeah, let me finish my 5th drink. Great. Whoa, man, Big Seal swooping in. There's a chair. Oh, Xander got up. Boom. How you doing? Hey. Yeah, my friend Xander just went to the bathroom. That's all right. He won't need this chair. Yeah. Hey. Yeah, the Sill swoop. The Big Sill swoop. Jeff Bone, how you doing, baby? Happy B-Day. The Swill soup, 11:45. How you doing, man? How's your night going? Fabulous. Wonderful. Let's extend it. How you doing? It's those Italian flags, Fred. That's awesome. Good for you. Victor Lawnmower cutting in. That is so great a line. Make it happen, Sills. We need a quarterback. Hey, Xander's buying, the closing song. Like at our PRs in Portchester when I used to go, and all the old ladies used to be in there Big Sills walk in. Excuse me. Wow. You look like you're 22. I'm 38. Never in a million years. 38? What's your daughter look like? She's off to college. Oh. Sweet Caroline, duck. That reminds me of the Red Sox. Screw that. You crazy? Nothing Red Sox. Nothing Red Sox. Oh, by the way, today on The Middle, people got a little angry at me for dumping on the Jets. Holy shit, the Jets are the worst fan base in history. They are clearly the most delusional fan base I've ever seen. Okay, honestly. Robert Saley's the guy. You've never had a coach in the history of your 60-plus years with a winning record. Think of that. Think of that. Jody's a Jet fan? Well, let me help you here. Do you know there's only 2 coaches in the history of the Jets that truly has had a winning record? You ready? Al Groh was 9-7 one year. He coached 1 season, and Parcells. The rest of them have had a losing record. I mean, Fireman Ed is their most popular dude. Fireman Ed, you know the guy that bangs shit on his head? Name it to Fireman Ed. Okay? And every coach that rolls in there, holy cow, man. The Jets and Mets, 2 most delusional fan bases. Because you got to look up to New York and you got to look over there and you got to see the Yankees with all those pennants. Right? The Yankees don't count American League pennants like the Mets count National League pennants. You know, we've got National League pennants. Really? Congratulations. You got second place. Right? The Mets. The biggest joke going. You got Noah Syndergaard on your team and you can't do shit with him. You got one of the best arms ever. Can't do shit with him. You trade Nolan Ryan away and you didn't know what you had in the room. For Jim Fregosi. Who's Joe Namath's coach? It wasn't Walt Michaels, man. It was the guy who was the Colts coach. The Mets. Hey, that's, by the way, the Phillies. Tell me I'm wrong here. As I'm learning here, because, you know, Xander with the front office, I got to get to that too here with the front office because I'm still learning about the Eagle front office. The Philly rivalry is not the Mets. How could the Mets be your rival? Maybe in the 70s with Bud Harrelson, okay, and Boa. Maybe a little bit in the 70s. But the Phillies and the Dodgers. The Dodgers are the Phillies' rival. The Dodgers. I grew up, it was Phillies and Dodgers every year in the NL Championship Series. Every year I grew up, Phillies, Dodgers, Phillies, Dodgers. By the way, you know who was one of my best friends? I forgot to tell you guys. Darren Dalton. Yeah, he married a chick I dated. I introduced him to. The very first Hooters chick, Lynn Austin. She's the very first, Google her. She's the very, by the way, Darren Dalton, I don't know, there was something really kinky and freaky about it. You know what it was? Something really freaky. Darren Dalton's born on the same day I am. Okay? He's a little older than me, though. But Lynn Austin married, yeah. Xander says Braves are rival now. Other than that, I have no clue. Wow. Man, when I grew up, the Phillies with Luzinski and all them dudes, man. It was Dodgers. Cardinals a little too. Now it's the Braves. I see that. 86 Mets, pretty good. Get this too, Chris. If they would have had like wild card rounds, I think that 86 Mets team wins more. They didn't have wild card rounds then. You know, they didn't have them. You know, you either won it or you didn't win it. You know what I mean? Let's see here. Dodgers are so loaded. You see that lineup? Now they had the MVP from the Braves. Anyway. Okay, so wait a minute here. Oh, wait. Okay. Well, I'm going to do this on the other side. By the way, In hour number 2, the head coach of the Colts is going to join us, Frank Reich. And we got a boatload of questions to ask him, too. So we're going to talk with him. What propelled them to move off of Carson Wentz? Why did they land on Matt Ryan? I think, by the way, they got so much better. Okay, because now they got a professional that knows how to take care of the football in crucial situations. Matt Ryan is going to a loaded Colts team. We'll also ask him about Zach Pascal that the Eagles made a move for yesterday, now adding him to the roster. So we will talk to the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. That'll be in hour number 2 at 5:30. Also, again, a lesson that Xander's teaching me about the Eagle front office. I'll tell you what that was. Please do me a favor, hit the like button. We'll catch you in hour number 2. Keep it right here on the National Football Show.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass. Free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that.
Holy shit.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. 1 free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of Stateside Vodka. So good, it just disappears.
Imagine for a moment that you went to work today and when you came home, you were catastrophically injured. Your life and your family's life. That's what happened to union construction worker Mike Little.
I was scared of what the end was going to be, but to be 100% honest with you, I knew I was going to be all right just by talking with Brian. In my heart, I just knew everything was going to be all right.
Call the firm and find out why they say, "We got this." Call 215-458-2222.
Go for the midnight dares. Go for the memories. Go for the view that goes on forever. Go for the bubbles in your bathtub and in your drink. Go to bed whenever you want. Or don't. Go for him. Go for her. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you. Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3. Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Welcome back. National Football Show, your boy Big Sills. Do me a favor, please hit the like button. Frank Reich will join us, the head football coach of the Indianapolis Colts, at the bottom of the hour. We'll get his take on all the news that has happened with the Colts over the last 2 days and them landing on Matt Ryan, moving off of Carson Wentz. We'll talk some Zach Pascal, too, to him. We'll also get his thoughts on Nick Sirianni's first year. That was his offensive coordinator last year, 9-8, alternate quarterback to the Pro Bowl. Pretty good stuff there, too. So we'll talk to Frank Reich, your former OC in Philadelphia that owns a Super Bowl ring, by the way. That'll be at the bottom of the hour, 5:30 Eastern time. Where does Baker Mayfield land? If you're the Browns, by the way, Mayfield over Jalen Hurts, not happening. Not in my room. No way. Why would I do that? Think about, follow me here on how incredible a story this is. Baker Mayfield was the number 1 pick, not a first rounder, the number 1 pick 5 years ago. 5 years ago, and he's gone from $18 million, which he made last year in his extension year, to the Texans saying, we're not interested. We're like David Mills. The Seahawks are going, well, I like Drew Lock. Carolina goes, I like Sam Darnold. Baker Mayfield has gone from an elite quarterback in the game to a second-team guy. It just shows you how fast you can fall from grace. Daz says Baker has mental issues. I think Daz, personally, I think he has ego issues. I personally think that he thinks he's as good as Aaron Rodgers. The problem is he's got Aaron Rodgers' ego, and at the end of the day, he doesn't have Aaron Rodgers' talent. I think it's an ego issue. Here's another one. Where does Jimmy Garoppolo go? Are you sold? If you're John Lynch, John Lynch is saying he's got a team out there on the hook that'll give up 2 number 2s. You don't think that's the Eagles, do you? I'll give you 2 2s for Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo in a quarterback battle. By the way, I have to ask you guys this. Jimmy Garoppolo in a quarterback battle with Jalen Hurts sounds... Would you bring in a quarterback to battle Hurts for the job? What's wrong with that? If you're not completely sold on him, maybe you are, should the Eagles bring in competition for Hurts? Why not open it up? You were going to do it with Hurts and Wentz. Why wouldn't you have a quarterback competition to see if Jalen can win the job again? Because all of you, watch this. Hey, and if anything we've learned, guys, we all know this. Jordan Love didn't really push Aaron Rodgers, correct? He didn't push Aaron Rodgers, but it pissed Aaron Rodgers off. They drafted a guy at his position. It pissed him off. It pissed him off. Xander goes like this. Are they really waiting for year 3 of Sirianni's regime to get him his guy? I ask you this. Why not bring a guy in and have Jalen earn the job? He's never earned the job. He's never earned it. He was handed it. He was handed it. A second-round pick was handed the starting quarterback job and the keys to the Eagles by default. Some would say, well, Joe Burrow didn't earn it. They drafted him number 1 overall. You're expecting that guy. You were not expecting Jalen to walk into Philadelphia and win that job over Wentz. It'd be a lie if you're lying. Eastside Monster, Sill's trying to stir up quarterback controversy again. No, I'm trying to get the best guy. What's wrong with competition? Wow. You know the only people that don't like competition are snowflakes. It's not, why not have him earn the job? Bring in Jimmy G. Make a trade for Garoppolo. What would be the worst result? Oh, we have to move off of Jalen Hurts the same way that the Titans moved off of Marcus Mariota and on to Ryan Tannehill. And now last year, they were the number 1 seed in the AFC, a very stacked AFC. Gee, That really worked out horrible. Last year, when the 49ers were waffling back and forth between Trey Lance and Garoppolo, Kyle Shanahan was told by Lynch, you got to win ball games, bro. You're 8-22 without Garoppolo in the game. What are we doing here with Lance? Bang, they went on a run, 7-2 in the second half of the season. I'm just saying, you're going to draft a guy in the draft to compete with Jalen? That's not a fair competition. You bring in a guy that's 36-16 to compete with Jalen Hurts. Best man wins. He's my guy. And you might actually get the best out of both of them. You're not going to lose anything in that exchange except this. Improve your quarterback room. And get this, if you want, send Gardner Minshew to San Francisco. There's your backup to Trey Lance. Maybe you could just swap. Give. What's this? Here's a second rounder and Gardner Minshew. I'll take Jimmy G. You're so sold on what you got going on there. And by the way, his cap hit, $25 million. Do you know how many teams would be calling the Eagles? Let's just hypothetically say this. Jalen wins the job. Do you know how many teams would be calling the Eagles? And maybe the Eagles and Howie could squeeze a number one out of that again? Wouldn't it be crazy if Howie did that and got the one instead of Lynch getting the one? Lynch doesn't want to move off of Garoppolo without a one. And he's not warranted a number one since his time in San Francisco. Fred, it wasn't anything like that. Don't be disgusting. Lynn Austin's a good chick. I like her and I love her. She's the first Hooters chick. Yes, I dated her. That's all I'll say. She's got great kids too, so come on now. You got to Google her, man. Or Google her. Matt Corral is a treasure. Who is that, the Mississippi guy? Still a serious question for you. Andy Dalton or Hurts? Andy Dalton or Hurts? Let me take a look at Andy Dalton's win percent. Andy Dalton. He's a redhead. I already don't want him. I'm kidding. Please. Jesus, Grammy. Okay, 77-69. And by the way, when he was his earlier years in Cincinnati, 10-6, 11-5, 11-5, 10-3, 9-7. Jesus, that's a pretty good stretch of winning games in Cincy. And the last couple of years, he's been like a backup. The Dallas thing was, he was 4-5. Last year in Chicago, he was 3-3. Okay. He's thrown for 35,000 yards, 226 touchdowns, and 130 picks. It's almost 2-1. Jalen Hurts or Andy Dalton? Wow. Why am I having a tough time saying Jalen? Dalton Reed's defense is way better. I mean, there's not even a conversation about that. Who's a better athlete? Jalen. Look at me having to do that. You did, maniac. Dalton, I don't. And there's only one redhead in Philly. Dalton 0-5 in the playoffs. Well, Hurts is 0-1 now. Dalton is old as hell. Okay, Reyes, that's probably good. Keep giving me. Watch this. I want you to help me get to Jalen. Help me get to Jalen here. Guys, help me get to Jalen. Hurts better than Dalton. That's a problem we have. Pro and con with Hurts and Dalton. Well, Andy Dalton is accomplished. This guy's won a ton of games. This guy's won almost 80 ball games in the NFL. Come on, man. That's respect. Starting quarterback. How about this? Matthew Stafford's won 15 more ball games than him in his career. So when you say that, and 77 wins, Eli Manning's 117 and 117 in his career. This guy's a 500 quarterback, so it's not that easy as you think. Andy Dalton. I'm probably going to take Jalen because he's younger. But I don't, you know what sucks? I don't feel comfortable doing it. I don't feel comfortable. So Xander was giving me a history lesson on your football team. You know what's funny? I know the MO of so many teams and how they act. I know how the Chargers act. They're very cheap. Zach Pascal is going to elevate Jalen Hurts to 4,000 passing yards and 23 touchdowns. Zach Pascal has the size and hands. And a complete upgrade from Jalen Reagor. Signed, Chris M., the public relations man for Zach Pascal. Okay. Chris M. is the personal public relations director for, and by the way, thank you, brother. Thank you, Chris. That's the PR department for the Zach Pascal Club. Woo, baby. Oh, man. I don't say he's a complete upgrade, but maybe a small fractional upgrade. Sileo, how would you draft the first 3 rounds of the Eagles? Profile the rounds? Dude, I'm heavy defense. Here. You want me to tell you? I'm putting a plan together. I'll tell you a little bit here. I'll tell you a little bit about it. But then again, Xander will probably go like this. Sills, you don't know the front office. They're not going to do any of this. But this is how I would do it to answer your question. I would take one of those first rounders and I would trade out of the first round for a 2 and maybe a 1 next year. I want another 1 next year. I want a 1, a 2, and a 3 for me trading my pick to you. Okay? I want a 1 next year. All right? 1, 2, and 3. And I'm probably going to have to be the 15th pick to do that. I'm trying to create capital here. I would go heavy defense with my first 2 picks. They won't do that, though, because you know why? Howie's in love with wideouts. I think a wideout's going in the first round with the Eagles. One of those picks, you're going to see a wideout. Not going to see Devin Lloyd and the guys that I picked. Trent McDuffie, Devin Lloyd, Tyron Walker. You're not going to see three defensive players taken by the Eagles. In the second round, I would go heavy. Okay? I'm filling gaps. Maybe another O-lineman. Another defensive tackle. Because I'm going to be eventually moving off of Fletcher. Writing's on the wall. They're not going to do linebackers. That would be where I would go. But because they don't care about the linebacking position, they'll probably wait to the 4th round to go somewhere in there. So we'll have to wait to the 4th round. But common sense people would probably go into the linebacking core, but they don't care. I look corner. It's pretty deep draft in corners. I'd go on the cornerback position there. Plus, it's a second rounder. It's cheaper than getting a 1 corner. Because, again, I'm looking at Howie and how he operates with the money. And he told me a lot into how he didn't do anything in free agency. Eagles don't want to spend. You know what the Eagles sometimes do? They talk a big game, but they won't put up. You know what they act like? $10 millionaires. They tell you they're millionaires, but have $10 in their pocket. That's exactly how the Eagles operate. Oh, we're going to gamble. Bro, what's the gamble? How have the Eagles gambled this offseason? Those were words out of Howie's mouth. How have they gambled? Where? What? What have they gambled on? Now, can I tell you this? Was the gamble Jalen? Is that the gamble? Help me. You guys know this dude better than me. Is that the gamble? That they're sticking with Jalen? Because I could be reading this wrong. Howie said they had to gamble. Yeah, Chris, I'd think a running back also in rounds 2 and 3, somewhere in there. I would. Hurts is the gamble, D-Train says. I never thought about it. Maybe that's the gamble. We're gambling on sticking with Jalen. Investing in their own guys. Smart. Cheap. See, Xander thinks like a smart front office guy. You know why he said, why would I even entertain 1 second about bringing a guy in like Baker Mayfield, who's got an $18 million number around his name? When I got a quarterback that's making $1.2 million a year, he started there. Common people that know the business start there in the money. Then they work their way back going, okay, who's more productive, Baker or Jalen? Well, you're really getting just the same production, okay? And you get less drama with Jalen. He's more of a grown-up. Well, I'm sticking with Jalen. None of it makes sense. That's why when teams are looking at a guy like Baker Mayfield and they're looking at what they have and they're looking at all the negatives and positives, there's not one redeeming quality about Baker Mayfield that a team would want. Let me take a timeout. Frank Reich is going to join us, the head football coach of the Indianapolis Colts. I got a ton of questions for him. We really appreciate everybody coming aboard here. Hit the like button. Keep it right here on the National Football Show.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass, free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that.
Holy shit.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. 1 free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of Stateside Vodka. So good, it just disappears.
Imagine for a moment that you went to work today and when you came home, you were catastrophically injured. Your life and your family's life. That's what happened to union construction worker Mike Little.
I was scared of what the end was going to be, but to be 100% honest with you, I knew I was going to be all right just by talking with Brian. In my heart, I just knew everything was going to be all right.
Call the firm and find out why they say, "We got this." Call 215-458-2222.
Go for the midnight dares. Go for the memories. Go for the view that goes on forever. Go for the bubbles in your bathtub and in your drink. Go to bed whenever you want. Or don't. Go for him. Go for her. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on three. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Welcome back. National Football Show. It's your boy Big Sills. Frank Reich, the head football coach of the Indianapolis Colts, is going to join us in a couple minutes. Till then, we take your thoughts. Please do me a favor. Hit the like button. You guys have been absolutely spectacular. It's really going to be interesting to see where Garoppolo lands and what John Lynch does. John's been holding out on getting a 1 for him, and I guarantee him, by the way, I'll ask Frank if they kick the tires and some of the other guys around the NFL. I'm sure they looked at Baker. I'm sure they looked at Garoppolo. I'm sure they thought about what they were going to do. And I'll say this to you, too, also about Matt Ryan. I've said this numerous times about him. I don't think the issues in Atlanta with Matt Ryan were a Matt Ryan deal. I think that football team kind of eroded around Matt Ryan. I think Matt Ryan now today, would you not be this if you were Matt Ryan and you show up and you see Frank Reich? By the way, I saw that, he brought his kids in to see Frank today, and the coach and everybody got a chance. He got a big high five from the kids. It looks like the entire Matt Ryan family is excited about the new opportunity and about, restarting a career again. He spent 14 years in Atlanta. How would you not think that you're happier and now you're being placed and parachuted in to a position where you may actually have an opportunity to win the AFC, a very stacked AFC? My opinion, Chris Ballard, the general manager of the Colts, knew you can't just have a rookie quarterback with that roster. It wouldn't match up. You need to have a veteran guy on that Colts team, because that roster's ready. Dude, defensively and offensively, let me say this to you too. When you move off of a guy like Wentz and you're Jim Irsay, Chris Ballard, and you're Frank Reich, this is about winning today. You've constructed every single piece. And you know the one thing about the NFL? Hey, don't get your feelings hurt, man. This is nothing personal here. Everybody's got a job to do. And the number one job is to be the team that wins the last game of the year. And that's to win that Super Bowl. It's not about winning hats, and it's not about winning T-shirts. It's about winning championships, hanging the banners. You got a running back that gained 1,800 yards. Hoss, you're set up. You're set up for great success. It would not shock me if the Colts go into the draft looking at wideout, because there's a boatload of wide receivers. And you're probably going to get some really great deals in rounds 2, 3, 4. Look at all the great wideouts that we have in the NFL that were not first-round draft choices that have gone on to max success. So many guys. The AFC, I'm telling you, I've said this in the last hour, and I'll say it again to you. I think it's going to be tougher to win the AFC than it is going to be harder to win the Super Bowl. Look at those teams that you have to go through in the AFC just to get to the conference championship game. Lamar's going to come back full strength. Justin Herbert's going to improve. The Chiefs aren't going anywhere. Now you got Wilson to contend with Denver. You got an up-and-coming Bengals team with Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow changed the culture of the Bengals overnight. Isn't it funny when people were talking about him, man, are you really going to kind of hold out? Maybe you don't want to play. Okay, you don't want to play and sit down. He goes, why? I'm an Ohio guy. And I said this to you guys also in the last hour. I think what happened in Cincinnati, when they see what that kid did with the Bengals, I think that pushed the Browns to go after Watson. because they saw what one guy could do to their franchise. This guy was sacked 7 times in the Super Bowl, 9 times in that Titans playoff game. 2 games alone, he was sacked 16 times. And he still got 2 quarters away from winning the Super Bowl, the ultimate prize. Hey, by the way, I don't know how many times Xander and I said this. How many times we went like this after every playoff game and during the rounds, like the divisional rounds, the wild card rounds, every Monday, I came out and I went like this. Hey, man, we got to get us one of them dudes. Because one of them dudes is a special dude, and one of those dudes, look at all the teams that had great success this year. Look at Stafford, what he did for Cooper Kupp. Look at how everybody around that unit, even when they brought in Odell Beckham. When they brought in Odell Beckham, hey, those last 6 games or 5 games that he played, that guy looked like New York Giants Odell Beckham. Because he had a big league arm throwing him the ball. When you got somebody that knows what they're doing, hey, why do you think Devontae Adams, why do you think he left Green Bay? Because his time in Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers is limited. At best, he's got 3 years left in Green Bay with Rodgers. He doesn't know what the future, and he doesn't want his future tied into what the Packers' decision is going to be. Instead, he hits his wagon to a guy that he had success and he knew from college at Fresno State and Derek Carr. That's how you get things done. And that's how you're always looking, again, for the opportunity to do better things for your franchise. I'm looking forward to seeing what this AFC does because, again, this is going to be about the war of attrition here. This is going to be, again, what team's going to have a better run of it now? I mean, look at, like I said, Wilson, Watson, Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, Derek Carr, Josh Allen. Now you put Matt Ryan in the conversation. And you got Joe Burrow. Look at the 9 guys I just mentioned. And like you said, we were talking before, we haven't even mentioned what Trevor Lawrence is going to look like. An absolutely stacked situation that's going on now in the AFC. And the Colts knew that they needed a veteran guy to really carry the mail for them. So, I mean, I think it was an absolutely brilliant move by them going out and getting a veteran guy. Okay? I got to think that it probably came down between him and Garoppolo. You know, we had this conversation last year with Frank Reich, and hopefully we're able to connect here in a second. So we're trying to run down the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts here, Frank Reich here. Frank likes veteran guys. Look what he did with Phillip Rivers. Okay, look what he did with Rivers. They won 11 ball games in the regular season, and they were able to really push their way into the postseason that year. I thought they really had a good team when Rivers was on that team. Now, Frank had worked with him when he was with the Chargers. So they had kind of a working relationship. Chris M says, Rashad White, ASU, 6'2", 220. Bell Cal dual threat. Like a Dabo Samuel kind of guy. Rushing yards and 450 receiving can get him in the 3rd round. Would be great spread formation type guy. That'd be really great if you're able to do something like that. I mean, hey, look, I think what Kyle Shanahan has done with Deebo Samuel, man, that guy's one of my favorite football players. I just love that they rush him, they run him. I swear to you, I didn't know what college he went to. I don't ever remember him being, quite frankly, I never remember him being at South Carolina. So, I mean, I got to tell you, man, no question about it. Okay, we're still working on Frank here. Hopefully we're able to connect here in a couple minutes, so just hold with me here. Listen, I'm going to say this to you about the direction. There's no question the Eagles have done this now. It's draft. It's draft. Okay? They want to go into the draft. And they want to make sure before they start going into free agency, okay, they want to make sure that they get a scenario where they have benchmark guys on that team. I'll tell you what, it's not the ending that I know that my friend, head coach of the Colts, Frank Reich, had, but I'll tell you what, they had a hell of a day today and yesterday. Here is the head football coach of the Indianapolis Colts, our friend Frank Reich. And I got to tell you, man, the high five today that you got from Matt Ryan's kid, man. I mean, dude, you know what it looked like, Frank, to me? It looked like Matt Ryan, he's really excited about the ability to have like a restart to his career. How did we get here? How did you guys land on Matt Ryan?
No, I think you're right, Dan. I think Matt's real excited for this chance for kind of a second stage, a final act to what has already been an amazing career. So it's just a lot of credit to him. Believe me, we're equally as excited. You could feel his presence today. You could feel, you could just feel that he's a guy, And I just think it's the right time at the right place, and it's the right fit. I think he fits into our system well. And I think he'll bring elements to our offense that will help us take the next step.
You know, Frank, I don't like throwing shade on anybody, and I'm not asking you to, and I'm not going to either, but just walk us back a little bit on the process, you, Chris Ballard, and Jim Irsay, because I look and how I said it at the end of the year, and Frank, this is me with my emotion. I said this, you can't lose 2 games like that at the end of the year. You just can't when you have that kind of talent on that football team. And I know everybody, including yourself, was a little bit disappointed and how that whole thing worked out. Can you take us through the process and the evaluation? Again, no shade on Carson, but how did you come to that decision on moving off of Carson and looking for another opportunity for a guy like Matt Ryan?
Yeah, well, first of all, Dan, I lost you for a second there. The internet went crazy for a second, so I'll just try to piece together what I think you said. Yeah, I mean, you know how I feel about Carson. I still believe in Carson, and I think Carson's going to play a lot of good football. I think he's going to be very successful this year, and I'm pulling for him. I really am. I mean, I love the guy, have a close relationship with him. It's a very complex, right? It's always a complex situation. There's always a lot of factors that go into it. But at the end of the day, Mr. Irsay, Chris, and myself are always going to do what we think is the best move, the best move for the organization and the team. So, it was an odd situation, but I give Carson a lot of credit. First of all, it wasn't all on him. The failure that we had at the end of the season was all of us, starting with me as the head coach, our whole team. We just didn't get it done. So Carson's not the scapegoat, but sometimes things happen, and they happen for a reason. You don't always understand it, but you play the hand that you're dealt. You're not afraid of that. You make the move that you think is the right move, and that's what we did.
Frank, was it tough for you because of the relationship and the personal relationship? And I would imagine what you're talking about here is it's got to be a collective group. And when you have a GM like Chris Ballard and an owner like Jim Irsay, who has a lot of passion for his football team, that had to be an emotional time for the organization. It wasn't just, let's just get rid of it. It had to be tough for all of you.
But yeah, it's very difficult, right? I mean, you get close to these guys, you work with them every day. You're in, you have deep relationships with these guys, but we're all pros. We know there's a business element of this. There's a business element of this. And then, with Carson and I, there's a faith, right? There was always that faith element, that spiritual element. Like, hey, sometimes things happen in life. It doesn't seem fair, but sometimes it's the right thing. Sometimes you think this is going to be the perfect situation and it ends up not being, and you end up having to go somewhere else. And you find out that, man, that was the right thing to happen. That's what I'm hoping happens here. I'm hoping that this is, even though it seemed like the perfect thing for Carson to be reunited back here, right? The perfect thing was, let's hope for his sake, right? For our sake, is that he steps on to Washington and he plays great and has a lot of success. I'm so excited to have Matt, right? I'm so excited to have Matt. I've respected this guy. I've never known Matt right before this, but just watching him from afar, this guy has elite accuracy. He is an elite leader. You know, he's had a consistency. You look at his numbers year in and year out, how consistent he has been over and over again throughout his career. You know, to bring that to a good team, I'm very excited about it.
How about this, Frank, for you? I mean, I wonder how you went about this process, because last year too, you went with a veteran guy, and I asked you if you would think about the process of the draft. I'm looking for it. Is it because you have this roster that's ready to win today, right now, that you needed a veteran, elite guy who knows how to take care of the ball, who knows his progressions and all this? If it was a different setup where you guys may be rebuilding, maybe you go into the draft, but was it a priority to go after a veteran guy? There's other guys out there, Mayfield, Garoppolo. I'm sure you did all your due diligence on every single one of these guys, but Matt Ryan was the guy you landed on. Was it important to get a veteran guy into the Colts building?
No, we didn't. You know, we didn't go into this thing thinking it has to be a veteran guy because we're built to win right now. Yeah, we do. Do we feel like we're built to win right now? Absolutely, we do. But as Chris and I and Mr. Irsay talked it through, you don't know what cards you're going to be dealt. It's like playing a deck of cards. You know, you don't know what you're going to be dealt. I didn't think Matt Ryan was going to be available. No one thought, you know, when we made the move with Carson, Matt Ryan wasn't on the radar screen, you know, and then Matt Ryan's on the radar screen. Shoot, well, you know, and we have a chance to draw that card. And look how that card fits in the rest of our hand. Oh man, that gives me a straight flush, or that gives me a full house. What, you know, I don't know. I'm just trying to use the analogy, and you see the cards. You know, there's no question, right? You know, Chris, I mean, we always want to draft and go young. I mean, we want to draft and go young, but you can't say that that's an absolute rule. You got to look at what cards are out on the table and play the hand that you're dealt.
Frank, did you guys look at Deshaun?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about, you know, we've had everybody out. So Deshaun was an option. You probably saw the media that Chris had reached out to them to see, hey, would they?
Frank, 20 teams probably reached out to
exactly. Right? I mean, so Chris reached out to them just to see, would you even consider it? Would you even consider it? And the answer was no. So it was a short process.
Yeah, because you know why? I mean, I just read off the AFC quarterbacks here that you guys are going against now. Wilson, Watson, Mahomes, Jackson, Herbert, Carr, Allen, Matt Ryan's now in it, Joe Burrow. I mean, it's going to be tougher, Frank, to win the AFC than the Super Bowl here. Hey, one thing, too. The Eagles made a move yesterday for Zach Pascal. Give us a little bit of a scouting report on what you think is going to bring. Obviously, Nick had to have some say in this, and probably one of his guys, too, when he was coaching him. Just give us a little insight on him.
Oh, man, Zach, one of my favorite guys now. He's tough as nails, gritty player, really talented, excellent route runner. But, you know, with how well Philadelphia runs the football, you know, Zach is just one of those receivers who is a force. You know, he's going to do the dirty work. He'll block force, and he'll be the enforcer. He'll bring he brings an attitude, but make no mistake about it, he's a talented receiver as well. Yeah, it crushes me in one respect that he's not going to be back here, but I understand this side of the business, and he and Nick were super close as well. So definitely a move. I'm sure Nick had a lot to say in that one.
Okay, so I want you to talk about your boy here, Nick Sirianni, because 9-8, he gets his team to the postseason, turns his kid Jalen Hurts into an alternate, you know, Pro Bowl quarterback. I see you beaming right now. I mean, this goes on the Frank Reich coaching tree here, where you must be very proud of what you're seeing with your guy.
I mean, I love Nick. He's like a brother to me. I think he's such a good football coach. And, you know, I tell people, I'm not ashamed to tell people, I tell people all the time, hey, we worked together for 6 years. It was a two-way street. You know, we taught each other a lot, and we grinded through. We put a lot of hours into developing passing games, game plans, play action, RPOs, you know, evaluating players, systems. How are we going to make the most out of play? You know, we got a lot of blood, sweat, and tears together. I think we see things very similar in the pass game and the way we see the game. And so just a real brotherhood between the two of us. I'm really, it's no surprise to me, no surprise whatsoever. He's going to be a great head coach for a long time.
Last two questions for you. If you don't mind, I mean, I don't know if this goes on the tampering line here a little bit, but just your perspective on what you see with Jalen Hurts and what you think of him as a quarterback. I mean, do you see promise in the kid? Do you see that the guy's got an opportunity at really being, I call all starting quarterbacks, Frank, so you know, elite, but then there's franchise guys.
Right.
There's certain different guys. And if you got one of the 32 jobs, you're elite to me. Okay.
Right.
So just your thoughts on Jalen a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I think Jalen is definitely elite, like you're saying. I think when I interviewed Jalen coming out, and I'm like, this guy's got all the intangibles. He's got all the intangibles. He's a leader. He works at it. The sessions that we had, like, I really put him to the test mentally when I interviewed him, and he passed with flying colors in every way mentally. We did this protection thing, and man, he just bam, 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 bam. He just spit it right back to us. Thought he saw it well in the past game. He's got a strong arm. And I think what they did this year with the slow start they had, right? And then he's the playmaker, but he's got Devontae Adams. He gets 1,000 yards receiving with Devontae Adams their first year together. So I really like Jalen's game. They're in the NFC, right? So I don't get to see them as much, Dan. So I can't evaluate, how he's working through all the progressions, that stuff. I don't watch all their tape. So, but what I've seen has been really good.
I just got a call from Julio Jones. I'm wondering if, excuse me, Julio, wait a second. I'll ask him. Hang on. Julio, I'm not kidding. Julio, hang on. Frank, Matt Ryan, I'm going to leave it. I don't know. I just, maybe,
You're
Julio,
funny. You are funny.
Hey, Frank, I love the hell out of you, man. You know that. When I feel so great about this move for you, man, because I know that you're so close to really being something special in the AFC. And by the way, do you wear your Eagles Super Bowl ring out anywhere?
No, I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud of it. I think, those guys, there was a special time, but, as when you get an opportunity as a head coach, Dan, right, you put those things behind. Those things are behind you, right? It's about everything that's ahead. There's nothing that's been done, right? We got to do it. We got to come after it each year and aspiring for greatness. And then in your shooting for greatness like that, then hopefully you get in the tournament and you got a chance.
I expect to see you in the AFC Championship game this coming season, Frank. I really appreciate it. I love Jim Irsay, by the way. I love your GM, Chris Ballard. You guys got a hell of an operation there. And you're just a great, great person to be running that organization. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you always finding time for me. Our friendship's now 40 years old.
I know.
Isn't that crazy?
Whenever I get a text for you, it's not very often that you ask me on the show anymore, but every now and then, I'm like, okay, I made the list. It's hard to make your list, but I'm glad I get on there every now and then.
Well, I'll make sure I tell Bruce Arians that too, because Bruce was supposed to come on, I think tomorrow, but he goes, Sills, I'm in Disneyland. I said, drink a lot of water, bro, because you're going to need it walking around that park, big fella. Thank you. I appreciate it, Frank. Go get him.
Thanks, Dan.
You got it. That's my friend, Frank Reich, the head football coach of the Colts. Please hit the like button. Do me a favor. Keep it here. We'll be right back here, 3 minutes here on the National Football Show.
At Stateside Vodka, every new customer gets the world's best rocks glass, free.
What's that?
A rocks glass?
You're telling me that bottle is cut in half?
You could say that.
Holy shit.
And you're telling me I can get one of these glasses for free?
That's right. One free rocks glass per customer with each first-time purchase of Stateside Vodka. So good, it just disappears.
Imagine for a moment that you went to work today and when you came home, you were catastrophically injured. Your life and your family's life. That's what happened to union construction worker Mike Little.
I was scared of what the end was going to be, but to be 100% honest with you, I knew I was going to be all right just by talking with Brian. In my heart, I just knew everything was going to be all right.
Call the firm and find out why they say, "We got this." Call 215-458-2222.
Go for the midnight dares. Go for the memories. Go for the view that goes on forever. Go for the bubbles in your bathtub and in your drink. Go to bed whenever you want. Or don't. Go for him. Go for her. Go for the win. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Book your trip at theoceanac.com.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
Welcome back. National Football Show, your boy Big Sills. You know, you guys are like, Sills, that was really cool. Frank, we really love him. He helped get us the ring and all, but where's Warren Moon? Where's Moon? You see, let me tell you something. I'm gonna hook you guys up about the Philly, Boston, Chicago fan bases. Sileo, great. What do you want, a pat on the back? Where the hell do you think you are, guy? You're talking in where? Spokane? Oi. Well, I got the head coach. I don't care what you got on, dog. It's expected. Forget about it. Where's Warren Moon? Thank you, guys. I'm only kidding, man. It's all good, man. Hey, did you not get the sense of this, though, guys? That Frank didn't want to send Carson Wentz to Washington? Is it me? Did it seem like, hey, I love him? It came down to my impression. I have no insight. I haven't asked Frank. But don't you feel Chris Ballard and the owner went, okay, nah, we're not keeping the kid around. And how much can Frank really push back on them guys when he was the guy that brought him in and you didn't go to the playoffs, right? All Irsay, you think, Davey boy? Okay. Frank didn't want to get rid of Wentz. 100% all Irsay. Did you guys get the feeling of that? See, talking to him, and get this Matt Ryan deal, doesn't it seem like it just came together? Remember when I made a point to you when the Atlanta Falcons 2 weeks ago restructured the contract? Remember I said the Falcons are preparing to move him. I said that verbatim on this show, that with that new restructuring, that it wouldn't be a $68 million cap hit against the Falcons. It was going to be more of a $32 million cap hit against the Falcons. It gave them more opportunity to spread that out over years and defer a lot of that money out. And so that opened the door then. Hey, by the way, did I not tell you? We're the only show that just confirmed it. The Colts called on Deshaun, and Chris Ballard was told no. How you doing? See, I don't talk to internet.com, nobody jerk, and go like this. Well, I heard it from a source. You know all those tool bags that are on my Twitter right now going, this guy's got no credibility. So the head football coach just comes on and says, yeah, we thought about bringing in Deshaun. We did. We wanted to try to get him in here. But they said no because they didn't want to trade him within a division. Why would the Texans want to trade him to the Colts where he could be on that team for the next 10 years and beat the piss out of the Texans in the AFC? Not that I think the Texans are going to do anything over the next couple of years. So when you read that stuff on Twitter, hey, that guy has no inside track on anything. He doesn't know anybody. I'm not a journalist, though, so no, don't get me confused with that. Big Sill's the new PFF. That thing's a joke. That thing's clickbait. By the way, you know why I'm getting Bruce Arians on? You know my first question is to Bruce Arians, so you know? Bruce, people said that you and Brady hated each other at the end. That guy, Rich Ornberger, said that he had inside sources that saying that you and Brady had disagreements and that you were whiting out plays that you were going to run when it came to putting game plans together. You know what Bruce has already said to me? Because I've been a good boy today and I haven't dropped the F-bomb, I'm not going to. But Bruce goes like this, that's effing ridiculous. So what we do here is we corroborate and validate what people are saying in the media that just makes shit up now. Sports entertainment, Duck. That's what I am. I'm an entertainer, dog. I'm not a journalist. Don't ever call me that. It's like calling me an asshole. Which my wife does recently and often. Brady can run the offense by himself. Of course he can. Your aunt is proud right now. Duck. Today, maybe. Today, maybe. So, hey, what'd you guys think of the scouting report that the head coach of the Colts gave you about Zach Pascal? Hey, I'm more uplifted about the move. I love the guy. Hardworking, tough as nails. I don't know. I mean, hey, and by the way, Chris, right? I made sure I asked the question. I go, had to be difficult for you to move off of him. Who made the decision? Was it a 3-person decision? Absolutely. Hey, did you feel anything? Yeah, how about his take on Jalen? Intangibles. Jalen's got the intangibles to be great. Yeah. I should have asked Frank, hey, Frank, why didn't you make a trade for him? And it's all right. Hey, Frank, do you want him? I think he's here's my favorite evaluation on someone. Guy's great. Man, you see him throw that ball. Coach, would you want him on your team? No. Wait. You said he was great. Oh, yeah, he's great. He's just, I don't want him on my team. How do you know Frank Reich 40 years? Good question, Paul. See that on the top shelf up there, that brown plaque? Me, Frank Reich, and Boomer Esiason, my freshman year, won the ACC when I was a freshman at Maryland. I would transfer to Miami, obviously, but I was a backup defensive tackle on the 83 ACC championship football team for the Maryland Terrapins. And Frank was the backup quarterback to Boomer Esiason on that team. And we've been teammates ever since. Me, him, get this, Frank Reich, Boomer Esiason, Pete Koch. Do you guys remember the movie Swede? Or no, it's Swede. You guys remember the movie Heartbreak Ridge? Do you guys remember Heartbreak Ridge? Remember that really big muscle guy? The Swede? Okay, well, that's Pete Koch. He does the commercials now for like an insurance deal. Pete Koch used to drive. Boomer was in the front seat. Frank was, because he's from New York too. He's in the back seat, and we would go back and forth and drop each other off during the holidays. And so we'd be on these 5-hour drives, the four of us, laughing our ass off. Seals, you have more gray hair since the Watson trade. Shut up, Fred. Yeah. Oh. Shut up, Fred. Hold on here. Frank just said this. Thank you so much, man. Anytime you want me on, I know it's tough to get on your show now. I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? Okay, it wouldn't be tough to get on my show. It's all good. Hey, man, I'm working on Bruce Arians. Hopefully he's alive after his walk around Disney World. I told him, you better hydrate up, bro. That's a tough one, man. Going around Disney, man. He laughed his ass off, too. So we're working on Bruce Arians this week as well. So, hey, guys, I really appreciate it. If you missed the Frank Reich interview, please go back and watch it. Like the show. Don't forget, I'm back on with Barrett tomorrow. They're on the middle till tomorrow, 4 to 6. Catch you on the flip side.